Hi everyone, I come to you humbly today because I have made an extremely crucial trading error that I will go at the end of the video. Before I get to that, let's just go over the complete situation of the stock market. We're not busting through the 50-day moving average on the NASDAQ like I believe that we should have. We are still in no man's land. We're in a neutral condition now after yesterday's stock market session. I only have the semiconductor hedge on. Besides that, I'm just waiting now. We had some buy stops on the books, but since they've triggered, they're not exploding higher. They're not falling either, but they're not breaking out like I believe they should have when they cross that price level. And due to this epic trading failure, the most embarrassing trade of the year, 8 months in the year, my first huge mistake. We're going to have to pare back on some of these. But right now, the market isn't very clear. I think it's not smart to be bearish or bullish here. But the crowd seems extremely bullish everywhere I research. So if we break here from this pattern with those big tall red bars in the middle right here and these big tall red bars over here, the big tall red bars everywhere, and then we finally crack over here with the condition that the Russell 2000 is in, already below the 50 200-day moving average, and with the condition that the S&P 500 is in, not being able to retake the 50-day moving average, the Dow Jones Industrial not really powering right back to the 50-day moving average. I I don't have a whole lot of faith in the market, so I'm very, very cautious here. Now there are some great plays. HTHT is another stock that's doing excellent. Another China name. China is growing, and it's incredible. QHU, look at this stock. HIMX, look at this stock. NOAA. These stocks show that there's nothing wrong, and it's because it's all China. China, look at the earnings and sales growth on these stocks when you get a chance. It's just incredible, the numbers that these stocks are producing, and China's growth, that's where it's at. It's ridiculous. It's just amazing to see, and that's why I still have buy stops for Baidu on the book. We'll see if that works. I still have Facebook also. I took off JLL because it appears that this thing is possibly going to top here, losing momentum. My internals are starting to weaken, and I really analyzed the intraday action. I don't like what I saw, so I took that off. But I still have a buy stop also in SWKS, so there's still 3 on the books. However, man, some new long positions, they didn't move higher immediately. Is there anything wrong with this one? No, but it didn't act right. So GWPH, that's a 50% sell. Even though, as you can see here, it's still above the 50-day moving average, which was the first cut loss area. I don't care. I got to pair back. SLCA, I got losses in it. Heavier volume sell-off today. Didn't move higher on heavier volume. Got to pair back half of that. UA, same thing. Intraday reversal. I didn't like the way it closed either. Heavier volume. It hasn't broken down. It's still consolidating, but it's not acting right. I got to get out of half of it. And then also Twitter. Stock looks great, but the thing gapped up to my buy stop level. And on that morning gap up, it should have just kept going. Twitter, this is a very huge growth stock. So once it got to that level with this current consolidation pattern, should have moved. Still looks great, still looks fine, but I want to get out of half of it. And then on the same notion, PanW hits fine. It's consolidating sideways, but once again, not moving higher immediately after my buy stops were triggered. Going to get rid of 25% since still everything looks fine with it. Just need to cut losses leading up to the final loss I'll go over. And ILMN, we got a good fill this morning that really mitigated some of those losses. Not bad. However, once again, it's down again. It's still above the open of our signal date, so it's not a full sell. But since it's not moving higher immediately, and because I'm about ready to go over this final sell, it's got to go. Now, I showed you NOAA, HTHT, another Chinese stock that also might be indicating, though, that we're, getting a little extended. Look at BITA. This is not really a parabolic top yet, but we're getting very extended. And look at this weekly chart. We're looking at a very big weekly price bar, the biggest one on this arithmetic chart. Volume isn't indicative that we're parabolic yet, but if all of a sudden people start buying BITA and it goes up like, 6% tomorrow and everything, this market might be done. These Chinese leaders might be the last of the holdouts before we're in trouble here. We just should have moved higher, but it's hard to be bearish when stocks like these Chinese names, sorry, I got to go over them again because they just look fantastic, you know, are doing what they're doing. Whoops, pressed the wrong one. There we go. So, whatever. Be careful. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I kept telling new investors over and over and over, cash, 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 cash. Probably should have said, hey, Josh, you should join them in the cash. Also, in the wow factor, Kate, I saw a lot of people posting that this was a buyable gap up. If you bought the gap up and then walked away for the day, wow. And this is the kind of action that you don't like to see in a market that you believe is supposed to move higher. Stock shouldn't act like that. So that's a wow factor stock. So Kate, you know, is not acting good. I saw some other weakness out there. You know, Sears Holding didn't look good. Fossil looks like a short. I mean, that straight up looks like a short after that gap down and sell off in May. Not good. And then LGIH. So there just was some bad moves, Cree out there that just weren't completely bullish. But it's not that bad at the same end. I got some signals like an MYGN, TRUE broke out. Pretty good sales growth in that one. Watching Q2, great sales growth in this stock also. You know, so, you know, it's not terrible out there, but it's not great. Taro is still holding up. And I do have one new long position. Excuse me, not a new long position. It's already one that we were long from back here in June. This stock just continues to move higher, and now it's following an amazing earnings where sales and earnings are both exploding higher, both over 100%. I can't give you the total because I don't have it memorized, and I don't want to post any MarketSmith charts just because they are very adamant about you not posting their charts. But AER is retaking the 50-day moving average. My technical indicators confirm this move, and I know for a fact that earnings are out of the way. It's a W bottom breakout. There's the first leg of the W, heavier volume on that leg, and then here's the second bottom of the W, lower volume than over here, and that's good. Now you're breaking out above the midpoint area and the 50-day moving average on extremely high volume following an earnings report on a day where the market was weak. 2.5% position. I would love to do 5% here on this signal, especially since we already have huge gains, and it's already done that back in December and then didn't even sell off at all and powered higher. Quite an amazing stock, but I did this yesterday. In an unbelievable trading error. I have been so busy trying to get down the nitty-gritty of the earnings reports and looking at this market and setting up buy stops in case we explode higher, putting on hedges, making sure that I sell stops on the book so I don't lose any money, making sure that my buy stops, if they don't move higher immediately, I can get out of those buy stop orders. And because I've been doing too much during the worst 3 months historically in the stock market, August, September, October, this loss cost me all of the money that I've been able to save by protecting my gains from turning into losses. I unbelievably went long RAX this morning based on this technical pattern yesterday. If this technical pattern happens post-earnings, this is an excellent indication that this stock wants to explode higher, especially with support here at levels like in May and the very low volume pullback with that heavy volume pocket pivot point signal surge. I checked it out on MarketSmith, the weekly data, and because I'm doing all of this, doing so much to properly make sure I'm on the right side of the market if it breaks out higher or lower, instead of just being in cash, I check on MarketSmith, see that they've announced earnings today. Cool. That's where it ended. I saw this move, saw it on MarketSmith that they announced earnings. Man, that's a 5% signal in a stock like RAX. I like what I see. I like where it's going. I like the numbers, like the 10Q. Boom, we're going to go. What was I like the 10Qs before. What was I thinking? Because without checking if it was before or after the market closed, checking the after hours quotes, everything that I normally do, I would have realized, wait, earnings are after the close. This is a no-go in the morning, even if it does gap up, because I'm not in the business of playing gap ups in a neutral and sell signal kind of market. Gap ups are only played by me, which is unfortunate because in HTHT, it would have paid off this morning, and in NOAA it would have paid off, but still gap ups are not traded by me in the morning. RAX, unfortunately, slightly gapped up, not enough to even be considered a buyable gap up when it's only up 20 cents on a $30 stock, and proceeded to sell off almost 6% today, leaving me with a 0.26% account capital loss on this one position. Now you're saying you didn't even lose 0.5% of your account capital. What's the big deal? The big deal is this trade never should have happened. Never should have lost any money. The amount of money that I lost on this loss today all of the gains that I was able to hold on to without turning into losses on all of the positions, like the hedges and the recent longs that moved higher and then didn't move higher immediately following through, all for naught with this one trade. So my apologies, big mistake, lesson learned. Got to be extremely careful. Already checked AER, earnings are out. They're amazing. Everything lines up with that one. So at least you know this one is a good one. If you want to go bigger than 2.5%, you can. I don't recommend it. The market's a little choppy here. Thank you.